Welcome back to this Folio series. This is the section that I'm going to show you how to create, and this will be so much fun. So we have fun flaps and pockets, and this swings this way, this swings this way, and then we have all of these flaps here. And so I am going to show you how we're going to create this, and then we will be close to done with our folio. I hope some of you are creating with me and giving this a try, and yeah, I'd love to hear your comments if you're making one. And so let's just dive in and let's get started. So the first thing that we need to do is create the base of this little folio section here. And what we're going to do is we are going to start with some black cardstock. We're going to cut this down to 8 inches in width. So it will be 11 inches in height by 8 inches in width. That will be the back middle section. Then we have those two larger flaps, and we are going to cut another 2 pieces of black cardstock. If you don't have black cardstock, you could use a coordinating color you could do cream, browns, whatever you might have. I'm using some heavyweight black cardstock for this. For those larger flaps, you're going to cut 2 pieces, and you're going to cut it at 9 inches in height. And then you're just going to leave it. It should be at the 8.5 inches. So you'll have 2 pieces, 9 inches in height by 8.5. Okay, so we have our 3 pieces here. We have the back piece. Again, the back piece was measured at 11.5 inches in height, 8 inches in width. And then our 2 larger flap pieces, and those were 8.5 by 9 inches in height. Then we're going to take decorative cardstock, and so you can use whatever you have in your stash, and we are going to cut the mat for our larger back piece, and this will be 10 3/4 inches in height, and then 7 3/4 inches in width. So you'll just cut 7 3/4 in width, and then 10 3/4 inches in height. And that will be our mat for the back. Then the mats for the flaps, you'll want 4 pieces of decorative cardstock. And the mats for those are going to be 8 3/4 inches in height. And then the width is 7.5. You will cut 4 of those pieces of decorative cardstock for these flaps. So again, 4 pieces, 7.5 inches in width by 8 3/4 inches in height. Cut 4 pieces. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take more of the black cardstock, or whatever solid colored cardstock you're using. Just make sure it's a heavy weight. So the smaller flaps, these are going to be, we're going to do 3 of them. We are going to make 2 cuts at 7 inches by 5.5 inches in width. So you'll do that twice. 7 inches height by 5.5 inches in width. And then you're going to have 1 piece that is going to be 7.5 inches in height by 5.5 inches in width. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the cuts for the mats for our flaps here. We're going to need 6 of them because we're going to put one on each side of our flap. So you're going to want to find 6 pieces of cardstock, or 3, you could probably do 3 12 by 12s and cut those down to size. Okay, I have a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. I am going to make the mat sizes for our smaller flaps at 6 3/4 inches in width, and then it's going to be 5 inches in height. So I'm going to do the 5 inches in height first. Okay, so I'm going to cut 2 of those at the 5 inches in height, and then width is 6 3/4. And I didn't spend a lot of time trying to figure out what I was going to use. You know, these are just mats. We're going to be covering a lot of it. So again, we're doing 5 inches in height. I'm going the wrong way. And then 6 3/4. Alright, and then I need 2 more still. Okay, 5 inches. I should have turned my paper the other way. I'm kind of doing this pretty quickly. You do want to make sure your paper is going the right way. Mine, the script is going to end up going sideways because I'm kind of doing this in a hurry. Let's see, where am I at? 6 3/4. I spent so much time on the last video, and I don't like rushing, but there's a lot that I want to try to cover in this video, and this stuff is like pretty basic. Okay, so you'll have your 6 pieces of your decorative cardstock. Now that we have all of our cuts done, we're going to take those 2 pieces, which are going to be our larger flaps, and we are going to score them. You're going to have the 8 1/2 inch at the top of your scoreboard, and you're going to score 1/2 inch on the left side. Okay, and you're going to do the same for the other piece. Again, scoring 1/2 inch. Alright, and now we're going to want to fold at the score line. And again, because these are going to be flaps and these are the hinges, you're going to want to make sure that you fold these really good. You want it to swing back and forth pretty easily. I am going to take some of my washi, that wide washi that I've been using, just to reinforce those hinges. I'm just going to do one side, and then we're going to apply a little glue just to kind of make sure that's held down. This on the other side. So we're going to go ahead, take some glue. And line everything up, but again, this is where I stress this. Do not go on the fold line. Go right below it, because you want this to close easily. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. So now we have the base of that intersection of the folio. And I'm just going to use my tape gun and adhere this down. And we are going to center that between top and bottom and sides as best as we can. Looks good. And then we're going to apply our 2 mats that we have. I want to make sure I do not run out of time. So I'm trying to get through some of these basic sections here pretty quickly. In my previous video I went into everything that kind of happened, and I had to stop YouTube for just a little bit. I was doing a few videos, but I could not do it full time, and there was many reasons. I'm back, I'm trying to get it growing again. So yeah, I'm just putting it out there. And I had already taped all of my mats ahead of time, so yeah, I'm just whipping right through this. If you're following along and you're going like, oh my gosh, you're going way too fast, just hit the pause button and go ahead and do your mats, and then, you know, you can catch right up. I lost one. Where did it go? It's, what, midnight? I usually do these videos midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, because my days are crazy, busy, and so I have to film at night, so I might get a little goofy here. Who knows? Probably edit most of it out. Okay, so the next thing, we got all of these matted nicely. Now, oh, we got our small flaps, that's right. So I have mine going up. Okay, up, well, all right. Okay, so you're going to take your 2 pieces, that are going to go this way. Okay, so we are going to go to the 5.5-inch side, so that's at the top, and you're going to score down 1/2 inch. But yeah, maybe one day I will be able to afford someone to edit my videos for me. It's a dream. I don't see it happening for a while, but maybe. We'll see. We'll see how these videos start going. And again, you want to make sure those are folded really good. For this one, the one that is 7.5 inches in length, we are going to put that at the top of our scoreboard and go down 1/2 inch. Come on. So just make sure everything is folded really good. And then again, if you want to, you can take your washi and just reinforce these if you think that they're, you know, possibility that they might tear after so much use. Try to go straight here. And then again, just a dab of glue on each end just to make sure it doesn't lift up. All right, so there is that one, and then we have this one. this way. So this one has to go first. This one is going to go behind this one. And I want to, let's see, I kind of want to place this. It's going to be right up at the very top. Yeah. So it will be right about there. We can put our mat on the back side. I'm just going to pick one here. And I did round the corners on these. Okay, but then on the front I used a book page. So, you know, you could just, if you have any old book pages laying around, if you don't, you could probably find one that's public domain and print it out. Is there anything interesting in this book? A little blurb I can read. Oh, I see shopping. I'm gonna pick this one. That is right up my alley. Shopping. I don't know if it's gonna show up, but yeah, we'll pick this page. I like it. All right. And so I do need to cut this down just a little bit. My poor finger, it's throbbing. It's like that my heartbeat's going through my finger right now. I'll just really quickly take some of our vintage photo. I'll probably have to edit the part out. So when you guys see my finger with the Band-Aid, I'll probably have to edit the part out because I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those things where you have to tell people, don't try this at home, because then I'll get in trouble if you guys try and do, like I was trying to get a piece of washi tape off the edge of my scissors because I didn't want them to get all, you know, grimed up, and I sliced my finger. Yeah, so that's what happened. And that's why I said, like my mom, if she's watching it, I can just hear her voice. Because when I do stuff like that, she kind of laughs at me and she goes, you big dip? Like, what were you thinking? It's like, I know. I love my mom. I adore my mom. I gotta go see her. I'm missing her. I usually see her like every 2-3 weeks, and I haven't called her. I need to call her too. I usually call her like at least every other day, and I haven't called her in, it seems like weeks. But it's probably been like 5 days, which is a lot for me. My mom and I are really close. Okay, so I'm gonna tape this down. Okay. So the front of this I just have matted with an old book page. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that hinge down, that hinge section. And we'll bring it right up like that, except you do want to make sure it is centered. I don't have it centered very good there. Right about there. Alright. So I already have this one taped and ready to go. And then again, I will round those corners. Okay, so there's that one. Oh, and then we need to do the back side. So let me find another one here. What do I have on the front? We'll put this one. except I do want to, again, round those corners. So right about there. And then we just want to make sure, you know, that we have it centered nicely. I'm going to put my mat on the back side of this bottom one. And then again, we'll round those corners, distress. And so we'll place glue on that hinge section. Center it, line it up with this one. Up just a tad bit there. Looks good. We did that pretty quick. I need another piece for my back section here, which I should have had us do when we were doing the matting, but I'm just going to again pick something really quick, and that size is 10 3/4 by 7 3/4, I think, by 7 3/4. Let's see, I want this side. No, I want this side. Yeah. Right, so yeah, just pick whatever coordinating cardstock you want to use, and we are going to place that right on the back like so. We have our intersection built out. That seemed to go pretty quick. All right, now we can have a little fun decorating. This is our little grinder. I love how this turned out. And I have some airmail envelopes in here. I created a double pocket. So there's a pocket here, a pocket there. And then this comes down. And we are going to make another little pocket there. And then we're going to take white cardstock, stamp it. And then this is one of the pockets in the digital, and then I used one of those Iron Orchid stamps that had the labels, so that is going to be our little pocket for there. And I thought I'm going to save this section because I'm going to put a picture of my daughter and I going out for coffee and I'm going to save that, you know, for that section. She is coming this weekend, I found out, so I'm going to be able to surprise her with this. And I'll try and get some pictures of us first, and then I'll come back and I'll show you, and we'll put them in here, and then yeah, I'm going to hand it over to my daughter as a gift. And then right here I have, this is from the digital, it's just a little envelope, and you could put a little gift card, coffee gift card in there, which I might do for my daughter, just kind of put that in, but I made a little pocket here. So that's what that is. And then there's another little pocket right here, and I made this cute little tag for it. So I took a little white cardstock to one of the pieces of the ephemera, and this is going to go in this little pocket like so. It just comes out, and you could put just like dates or something, or a little journal entry with the photo right here. You know, you could put your photo here and then put your journal entry here and stick it in like so. Yes. Anyway, I was really happy with the way that this turned out. So this is what we're going to do next. And it's just going to be some simple little fussy cutting. We're going to pop it up, little washi tape, and that's about it. Okay, so this is from the Digital Collection Coffee Shop. And for those of you who have purchased it, thank you very much. Thank you. It's one of the great ways you can support me and my channel and me doing these projects. This took a long time to do. It was a lot because I had to create the digital collection and then just trying to think of how to do this album and the flips and decorating it. It was a lot of time, so it's a great way to show your support and of course watching the video for as long as possible. Like from beginning to end would be awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that's what this came from. And there's these extra pieces because this is what we're going to pop up. And we're going to pop that up. And then I wanted to show here. So when you print it out, you're going to see two of these images. And one, I take this section right here. So I thought I would show this. We're going to cut right there at the edge of that bowl, the lip of the bowl. So right there. And then I'm going to come around and cut out this section right here. So the pedestal of the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and cut that right there. And then we'll just go up. And then you will want one of these cut out as well. One of these handle knobs. Okay, so this is the Coffee Shop ephemera pack. And what you get in this, just to kind of give you a little preview of everything that comes in it, and you get two each of the ephemera pieces. And there's a lot in here. And so if you're wanting to, not have to fussy cut and you just want this ephemera, yeah, you got lots to work from. Everything is cut. So you get a lot. There's the ladies and some little pieces of ephemera. You got some little coffee mugs. I try to do it in all different sizes. There's some bigger pieces and some smaller pieces. I love these. I'm going to have to use some of these in the folio when we get to the decorating part. That little coffee bag. But as you can see, you get a lot of ephemera here. I mean, there's a lot. And I wanted there to be two each of each ephemera piece because sometimes, one is not enough and you wish you had two. So I put in two each. And I love these little buildings. I'll have to use some of these as well too. But I just thought I'd show you a little preview of the ephemera packs. And I do have these in stock. And so that is the Coffee Shop ephemera pack. And I will have the listing for these down below. And if you're interested and you just want, a ton of ephemera to work with, you got a lot here. There's just a lot, as you can see, of pieces. We are going to use this piece right here. We're going to take and make this tag. So I have my piece of ephemera. Now again, you can get the digital, print it out, and fussy cut it, or I just showed you the ephemera pack, and you could take the one from the ephemera pack, whichever. And we are going to take some white cardstock. Looks like 2 3/4 of an inch. That's about what I did. And then the width, I am at about 1 3/8 of an inch. But you know, yours could be, it doesn't have to be exactly that. It could be a little wider. I have some tea here. There's this tea that I get. It's Harney and Sons, and it's the blueberry tea. It is like my most favorite tea that I've ever tasted. And I've tasted a lot of tea. And I've tried other blueberry teas. There is something about that tea in particular. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm going to take, and boy, that looks pretty good. The main thing is you don't want to go wider than what our drawer is going to be, and I apply pop-up adhesive here. So you're only going to have, I would say about, let's see, you do not want to go any wider than, I would say, yeah, like the 2 3/4 of an inch. You do not want to go much wider than that. Alright, so we have this piece and we have our white cardstock piece. I'm going to apply just a dab of glue right here. And you just barely want to, you want to have it as close to that edge as you can. Again, this is just to have it so it's a little more durable. Right, and my finger is just throbbing. Yeah, I've had more brilliant moments. You should see some of my past accidents. One was on a dirt bike. I took it off a cliff. It's a long story. It was in my crazy days, you know. Like, I hung around a lot of guys. Most of my friends were guys back in the day, and you know, being from Montana, and I had this thing, I think it runs in the family because my mom was kind of into the drag racing and the sports cars and all of that, and yeah, I think it hit me too, and anything that went fast, man. Snowmobiles, horses, dirt bikes. Anyway, yeah, that was amazing. That was one of those days where I thought I was gonna die. I really did. And you know how when you watch movies and they're about ready to get in a plane crash and all these memories are flashing through their minds of, you know, about their loved ones and everything. I didn't have time for that. Basically, it was like, oh crap, I'm dead. Literally, that's all that went through my mind. And then off the cliff I went. And this big boulder had caught me from going all the way down. The bike didn't make it. The bike went all the way down. And my friends, they thought I went down with the bike. And they didn't see me behind this big old boulder. And I remember I was out of it for a little bit. And then I looked up at the sky. And I don't know, I think it was like adrenaline or something. I started laughing, like hysterically. Just laughing like crazy. I mean, it wasn't funny at all. But I couldn't stop laughing. I just don't even know, like, I couldn't believe it. I think part of me was in shock. And I just kept saying, I'm okay, I'm okay. I wasn't okay a little later. Then the pain set in. I think first it was the adrenaline, then it was major pain. I had really made a mess of my hands. I wasn't wearing gloves. I was just being young and stupid, you know? And you just don't think of those things. Took off like Evel Knievel, and yeah. Boy, we launched it all right. I can't believe I'm alive. Actually, I can't believe I'm still alive, and I'm showing all of you YouTube videos on how to make albums. Like, never in a million years somebody told me this is what I was going to be doing. Never. Never did I dream this up, that this is what I would be doing. I love it. This is such hard work. It's probably some of the hardest work that I've done. But in doing art, because it's something I've been doing since I was little, drawing with my grandma, you know, doing art since I was like 6, and I just love it. And to be able to share it with all of you. But anyway, yeah, so there you go. A little bit of my crazy life. And here we are, making a coffee album. Who would have ever thought? Okay, next thing that we need to do is we need to take and back this against some heavy cardstock. Again, I'm going to stick with the black cardstock. All right. And then okay, and I'm just, again, trying to get this as nice as, you know, nice looking as I can around those with my black border. But, you know, it just kind of peeks through. And it's certainly not perfect, but it will look nice when we get it all laid down. On our folio here, one thing that you can do too, if this is just sticking up a lot, you could just set something heavier on it and it will lay right down. Alright, so our coffee grinder is going to sit on there like so. And I just put some washi tape up here. I want to keep, let's see, it looks like I have it up here. I'll just sit it right there. And then put another strip maybe right up here. And then this will go like so. On the bottom. And just maybe right up in here, but not that handle. I want kind of just imagine a line here. Okay. So that is where you want your glue. And then we'll lay this down. All right, and now we get to do something kind of fun. We have our pieces here. The knob and the bowl. Okay, so once you have all of those distressed really good, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with this piece. So I have some of this foam tape. It's pretty thin, and I even want to go thinner. So I'm going to cut it with those sharp scissors. I'm going to cut it in half as best as I can. Alright, and this is going to go right up there. Got it a little long. And then we're just going to place it over like so. See, this will go right inside of there, a little pocket. I did need to take my scissors and make this little slit here so that this would sit in there better, like that. We're just going to, I'm going to get my foam squares and just apply some of this. We're just going to line this up and we're going to attach that like so. Just kind of gives it more of that realistic, you know, 3D look. And then we have to do our little knob down here. And just kind of match it up to the image. And then we'll do our knob to the handle there. All right. And then again, just match it up. And there we go. I think that is so, I just love it. It's so cute. And I love our little journal card and our little pocket here. What you're going to need for this bottom flap here, we already have this section matted, the inner part of it. So this part right here, the front, you're going to have your matted piece. We're going to use the Digital Designs, and again, my yellow toner. I'm waiting for my toner to come in, but mine was faulty, so it's got this yellow popping through there, but if you get the digital collection, you will not have the yellow, unless you have a faulty yellow toner cartridge like me. But I'm going to use this design. We're going to create our pocket first, and then we will apply this over it. And what we're going to do is we are going to score, yeah, 1/4 of an inch right down the side, and then rotate and do 1/4 of an inch, and then rotate and do 1/4 of an inch. So you will have your 3 sides scored. You have this side and then your bottom. And then you're going to cut at those corners there. All right, and then fold your scored lines. I'm going to make a cut right where it says coffee, right there. And then I think I just need to take, we're talking like 1/4 of an inch off. That is perfect. I'm going to round just the top part of this. I'm going to round this corner, this one, and then this. There we go. I like that better. I love using this as opposed to my glue when I want things just to lay perfectly flat. And I'm going to create a notch. So I think this one's going to be too big. Maybe not. It worked. And then I'll just distress that right there, and we can glue this down like so. I just need a little strip for each edge is all I need, and then I'm not wasting so much here. So I'm thinking like just a little strip there and a little strip there. So I'm going the right way with this, because I want the pattern to match up. And we'll just kind of eyeball it, like right about there. And then we can lay this down like so. I like to glue this down first because it just makes it easier when you go to glue this section right here. When you glue it down, it just kind of makes it, I don't know, easier to lay down onto the page. Alright, and we are going to place this right there. And you can just use again whatever you might have on hand as far as washi tape goes. I like this because it's coffee themed. And I put it going across. So for this section right here, so we're on this flap right here. What I did there, and it's going to look a little different because I matted it differently than I did on my prototype. I just took one of these ephemera pieces. There are these tags in there, and I think you got like 3 or 4 of these tags, and so you're just going to take one of those. I'm going to use my decal edge scissors and just kind of roughen up this edge just a little bit more. And you know, if you don't have these tags, just take some craft. You could take even white cardstock, distress it up, stencil it, and you know, just create a little tag. We're just creating a little tab here is all we're doing. And these do already have an adhesive, but I would still glue it. I don't think it's probably that strong. So I'd still apply some glue just to make sure it stays down. And I'm only pulling off part of this backing. And then we are going to stick this just like so, just to create this little tab is all we're doing. There we go. And we're just going to create a little pocket is all we're going to do here. So we're going to glue it there. So only glue here and here. Do like a little L. You know, you could use some of the journal cards from the digital collection or receipts or whatever you might have to put inside of your pocket there. So I do like this little bit of contrast here, and I did have a little scrap piece, and I am going to just apply, I think, this border right along here, put just a little piece up there. You will hear me say this a lot, it's those finer details that just make all the difference sometimes. I literally just woke up. That's why my voice probably sounds the way that it does. I went until 2 in the morning. I tried. I couldn't do it. My body was saying, please, please just go to bed. Alright, I need to take like another sliver off. There goes my chihuahua. It's kind of funny. When either one of us leaves, our dog barks. It's kind of weird. But yeah, my husband left. He went to go get coffee. Yeah, my chihuahua started in. Okay, let's see. Where do I want this? Cut this piece down a little bit more. So I think I'm going to do that. And you know what? I think I am going to just on this side apply a little glue here and here. Okay, so when I put this down, well, they stay in there pretty good, but this could help hold them down a little more. And I'm going to do the same. So I'm just going to create a belly band on each side. About there. We love our little guy though. He's getting up there in age. I can't believe it. I don't know if he's 10 or 11, somewhere around there. And it just kind of holds that in place. And it looks better, I think. And then I did put in this envelope. This is from the digital collection. Nice little envelope where you just have to fold it. And I think what I'm going to do is when we get to the decorating part of things, which will be tomorrow hopefully, I might do some wax seals. I do have some coffee themed wax seals, so that might be kind of fun to add in a few of those. But yeah, I really love the way this part turned out. I am so excited to start filling this album up with pictures of me and my daughter, because I'm gonna have one and she's gonna have one, and hopefully all of you are following along and you're gonna have one. Okay, so there's those. Now we're getting into the bigger sections here. Maybe not. Let's see, I might have to use my scissors. I could even use my decollage scissors, which I might do that. Just do a little fun edge. Maybe right there. And we'll create a little notch because we're going to do that side pocket. So if you're making this, you might want to just run over to Michael's and invest in one of their packages of the heavyweight cardstock. An 1/8 of an inch border, I think would be good. There we go. And then this will sit in there like so. We will have our double pocket. Now, I don't know, I've been able to do this a few times. My punch, I don't know if it's going to go in there. I want to go up a little ways from perfect. I'm trying not to get quite so close to my edges so the glue, you know, doesn't leak out from the edge. All right. There. We have our glue and our side pocket. We want to go over to this edge quite a ways. I think right about there looks good. All right, I'm going to put something in there. You know, when we get to the decorating side of things, I'm going to do some sort of fun tag or big journal card to go inside of there. This flap that comes down. This, and I think I showed this already, this is going to hold that junk journal. I showed a preview of it in a previous video. I do want to go into how I created this a little bit. I don't know if I'll have time to do the entire journal. I will give you enough instruction to where you can go off on your own and be able to make one. And then we will, you could bind it with a folder. I'm just going to do a rough, maybe a burlap hinge on this when I get all of my signatures done. This is going to sit in there. So I will have my little, and it won't be able to be very thick because you want it to be able to go into your album. But I'm going to have my little junk journal section here, get it all decorated up, and then I'll be able to create some journal entries. And that's going to go in there like so. I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do though to hold this in is create some sort of belly band coming from the side going across, and then we'll score it here. And so you'll also be able to have a pocket, but at the same time it will be our closure for this flap. So this won't come down, it will just stay up, and then you can just slide this in and out. And so that is my thinking on how I'm going to do that. It would look something like this. I'm just using scrap pieces. I gotta have it the right width and length. And we'll create a pocket. I might bring it up actually. You know, a big pocket here. And then, yeah, and then at the same time, it will hold that. I've never done anything like that before. That is what I'm thinking. Okay, let's see how this goes. First thing is we need to make this. So for all of you who got a kit, you will see a sheet of paper, or 12 by 12 piece of paper with some sort of espresso machine on there. It may not be exactly this, but it will be close enough. You will be able to do something very similar to what you see me doing here. And we are going to just take and cut this out. Now what I think I'll do is I will do a espresso machine in an 8.5 by 11 size. So it's big enough. I will add it to the Coffee Shop Digital. So for those of you who purchased the Coffee Shop Digital, you will see an updated link, and it will have an espresso machine, not exact, of course, but similar, that you can use for your project. So I will get that in. I'll try to get that in today. And again, I will mention that if you buy any digitals from me and you lose them, I will send you the downloads of everything that you've purchased. Alright, I try to keep an energetic tone. I get so deep in thought though when I'm doing these that sometimes I might feel like I'm tired or something like that, like just not very high energy. And it's just, I'm in such deep thought. And so it's hard for me to keep up this like, hi everybody, you know, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do this. I mean, yeah, it probably sounds better over the camera. In real life, I feel like I sound ridiculous, but I know I need to try to keep it, that energy level, like upbeat, because I probably would put all you guys to sleep if I haven't already. But yeah, it's really hard because I'm trying to focus on doing this project and teach. Like, I don't know if I've ever done 5 videos in a row. So this might be a first for me. First milestone. We got through week 1. Pen or pencil will mark it. Mine is going to be probably different than whatever image you use, but you just want to have it the length of the base. So it just happens to be 6 inches. And then we're going to score along here to create a hinge. So it's 3 inches. We're going to go 1.5 inches right in the middle. So just some glue right along here. And start there and push it, that glue down. And then this will sit in here like so. So we're going to go ahead and glue this section here. And then you just want to make sure when you're laying it down that you have it centered on your left and right side there. Just want it nicely centered, and there is our flap. So now when we close this, yeah, I like the looks of that. We're getting there. We are getting there. We have our flap here where we're going to create a double pocket. So that is going to look like this, and we just need to create our pocket here. This is from the digital, and then I used a white piece of cardstock, backed it against some black cardstock. We did some stamping, used one of the digital pockets, and then used another stamp here. And then that will sit inside of there. And again, it's just a nice place to put a picture. So that just fits in that pocket there, like so. I got my digitals printed and I fussy cut everything out ahead of time, so you're going to want this pocket from the digital. And then there's a few other things that I grabbed that I might use, but for now we're going to use these pieces right here. I took this and I brought it to this edge here and I traced. Okay. So I'm going to trace there and across there. I'm going to take my cutter and and go right along this line where I traced all the way across. And then we'll take scissors and just follow that section we traced. So it's going to be 7 3/8. It is going to be at 6 1/2. And then I just rounded those corners with my chomper. Again, you could use your scissors if you don't have a chomper, but oh my gosh, I use my chomper all the time. But for those of you who got a kit, you either got this stamp or one similar to it. It's more of a splatter type stamp, and so both are going to work because you're not even going to see that much of this. It's just to give a little bit of definition to the page. Maybe again, if I can find it. Oh, I have such a mess. Such a mess. Literally like a 500 square foot table. I wasn't joking. It is about what I need. I got multiple projects on my table at a time, so it's just crazy. And then things just get plopped on top of each other and buried. I can't find anything. Somewhere around here, I have, right in front of me, actually, I'm going to use my archival ink in the coffee shade, but of course, you know, gotta keep it coffee themed. We're using espresso, ground espresso for distress oxide, archival ink in the coffee. I'm going to do my best to just ink the raised section of this stamp and not the edges because I don't want hard edges, and I'm just lightly going to press in the middle there. Does not have to be perfect. You could use a stencil. Whatever stamp, texture stamp you have would work. Whatever you have on hand. If you have stencils, use your stencils. Use your essential stencils. Oh my god, I'm gonna... I can't speak. Oh, I did it again. I think that should be good enough because if you look at mine, see, most of it is covered. We're just going to have little areas peeking through is all. One here. Oh, and then I get a hard edge. Oops. Oh well. That's when you get a stencil out, is when you oopsies, just like I did. Oops. See? And this was the Crafter's Workshop stencil, one of them that I'm using. I can even take it and we can add it to, you know, add some coffee stains on the background there. Why not? You know, I'd add in some music. I'm half terrified too because I don't know how to adjust. Like when I do my editing, it sounds fine. And then I watch it on the video and it's like blasting loud. And I'm like, what the heck? So I don't know how to adjust like the volume to know that it's the volume it should be. So I'm just kind of half afraid to add in some music. I'd sing for you guys, but as you can tell, my voice right now, because I just woke up, I don't know, it'd probably be pretty scary. Now we're going to back this with the black cardstock. I make this look so easy, don't I? With my tape gun. I love it. I love that tape gun. Other than the tape issue, I love it. Alright. Again, just about 1/8 of an inch border is all you're going to want to see. There we have it. Now we have this pocket. And I think we are going to have to cut this down just a little bit. Your print, if you go to print it, is going to look so much better than mine. Because again, my yellow toner. Yeah, I think I need to cut just a little more off of there. Just a little. Maybe from each side. And I'm talking like a sliver. Because I am going to back this with the black cardstock as well. Just because I do want those heavy duty pockets. Jumper, where did you go? Here it is. Oh, if you could just see the mess on my table. I wish I could take my camera down, but it's like, yeah, it's on the stand. It's all attached. I'd have to detach it, but oh, you should see. It's insanity. Like mad scientist insanity. Okay, so we will back that. Oh, I gotta distress those edges. This part, this was a little fun section here. And so I have my stamp from Iron Orchid, that crockery stamp. There we go. I'm going to glue this down. Again, we're making a pocket with it, so you're just going to glue those sides and bottom. And right, I would say about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom is where I'm going to place that. Okay, and then I have this little tag. So again, for those of you who have a kit, in there you should have, like I said, 3-4 of these little tag things. This one has a circle thing in it, but this is just a decorative element. I like this one. I'm going to use this one. I could create a tag with it. I might just do that. And then, you know, you could also add in some of these stickers. Like, this is kind of fun. You could put it just like, you know, put a splotch maybe right there. We'll use some of these stickers. Again, I was going to save some of this for the decorating part, but yeah, I am so ready to just decorate. So after this project, I will be working, turning around and working on our next project. So if you're wanting to join in and you want to make sure you get a kit, and I only have a few left, I think I'm down to maybe only 10 more slots left, so don't wait. Because, you know, if you're really wanting to do this, I want to make sure that, you know, you're able to get a kit and you can follow along, like for those who got a kit and are able to do the project, you know, with the stickers and all the things that I'm using. Be sure to grab a kit. And down here, just to hold it in place. And apply that to the top. And then we just have like this cute little decorative element for our pocket. Going to glue this down. Just put that like so. And then the only other thing that I really have to do is I put coffee 5 pounds up here in this tab. And go ahead and glue this down right there. Alright, got to distress this. And again, I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch border. If you don't have a 3-inch hole punch, because a lot of people don't, you could just use your scissors and cut as best as you can right there. I might just even that out a little bit. There. Oh, I made it too wide. Oh my gosh, I should have measured first. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I have to take off this much. But again, we will fix this. We'll make this look nice. So we're not going to have the black borders on the side, so I just took a sliver off each side, and now it fits perfect. I have black soot. That is my printer calibrating in the background. Of course, like, it just randomly does it. But anyway, if we take our black soot distress oxide, it'll kind of give the trick of the eye that we have that black border on the side. And that is how we are going to fix, you know, I kind of goofed it there. But easy fix. There we go. And now we can go ahead and glue our pocket down. So we have on the sides. We want it to go down right below this flap here, right below that folded line. So we have room for our mat that we're going to put in the pocket there. And then this goes right inside of our pocket like so. And it's perfect. Perfect, perfect. There is my punch. Just taking one of my scrap pieces. And we're just going to add this little bit of black showing through. So I'll have to cut it down. I'm just going to use my scissors because not much of this is going to show. And I'm going to just glue that like so. So I'm going to fix this rough edge that I have. I can't get to it. I had that one edge and I should have just let it alone. And I didn't. And I made a total mess. It just looks rough and terrible. So to fix this, we're gonna use, you'll never guess, washi. We're gonna use washi. I'm going to take, this is some from Prima, but I'm going to take this and we are just going to apply some washi right there and kind of disguise this. I'm hoping it'll work. And make that look smoother right there. And then I'm going to take some of the, let's see, where's that brown? Do a little bit of the brown. And put this right like so on the inside. And there. You can't tell that I totally flubbed that up. And just to make it blend in a little more, I am going to take my black soot and we are going to go along that edge there just to clean that up. So if you get a really rough crescent right there, like I did, that is how you can smooth it out and give it more of a finished look. But this is pretty thin. I'm just going to take and curve it like so. I am going to look through my package of coffee shop ephemera. I had a few ideas here. So I put that little piece of burlap there, and now that I have that there, I'm thinking it still needs something. So I have these coffee beans and cinnamon sticks, and I kind of like the look of that. I could do that, or I have the coffee mug, which looks really cute, but I might just go with these coffee beans and cinnamon sticks. Building this album and just adding these details, taking that little bit of extra time, just try to enjoy it, enjoy the day, think about all the things that I'm so grateful for. It's kind of hard to see because I put that piece there, but that's going to just slide in like so. See, it needs something. And I could do that. I actually kind of like that. And right here. And again, we have, can add in some envelopes, and I'll probably make this into a bigger journal card so it sits in there a little nicer. And then we have our mat here that we did, and I'm going to add a photo there. And we could put pictures here and here. And then we have some journal cards here. And then we have our fun little grinder thing that we did there. I think it looks really good. And then we'll have to create some sort of mat to go inside of here, which we'll do that a little later. We will have our little junk journal. And again, I'm not going to show you how to do the whole thing, but you'll have enough to go on, so you'll be able to create something similar. And I thought it'd be fun to, I don't know, put some brads up here, and we'll attach it to the back of probably like a manila folder, and then have it sit in there. So you can detach it, but the back of the file folder, or you know, whatever, will be attached to our folio. But we'll have it so you can remove it. And then this will go up like so. And I think I'm going to call that good for this video, because then we're just getting into the decorative elements where, you know, we can figure out if we want to add in some more pockets, decorate some envelopes, have some fun doing things like that. But this, look at where we're at with our folio now. Get our folio. So we can now set this inside. Oh, I do have this flap. Again, this will be part of the decorating. I have the sun. The sun is coming up here. But now this will sit in there, and again, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to attach this in to our folio, but we will be attaching this in there. I haven't figured out how I'm going to attach it in there yet. But there is our middle section, and you know what I'm thinking? It's so big now. You guys are going to be like, what? I'm thinking I'm going to cut here and make this wider, because look at how big our folio is. It's just kind of exploding. And I want there to be room for photos and things like that. And it's really not going to be that big of a thing. We'll just make 2 cuts through here. We'll make a wider spine, and I think we will do that in the decorating part as well, because I think it needs to be just a little wider. And I just did different things on this one than I did on my prototype, so I didn't know, you know, to make it wider. Like, we popped these things up, and so that added some thickness. But doesn't it look great? I just think it looks so cool. And once we get this all done, then again, we will do some sort of fun thing to have this hold in place. I'm thinking here of how I'm going to do that, but this will be attached, and you will be able to remove it. I don't want it sit, and gosh, I cannot talk. I do not want this to be in there permanently. I want you to be able to remove it out from there. So I got to figure out how exactly we are going to do that. I hope you're loving this project. Be sure to check out the other videos. Check out the previous videos to this series if you haven't seen them yet, and look at how we made some of the flaps and how we did some of the pockets and things like that. It's been a really fun series, and I hope for those of you who have been following along, you're enjoying it. Please leave me a comment and let me know. And in the meantime, be sure to check out some of my other project videos. We'll see you back soon. Thank you so much for watching.